you so much for tuning into another video here on Warogoro Awero. Thank you so much to those of you who left comments on my last video and to all of you who watched and subscribed. Now, today I figured let me start with a little TMI and share with you guys my labor and delivery story. My daughter was born on the 8th of April 2018 at exactly 3:15 p.m. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. When I tell you being able to get pregnant and having a child is a miracle, it truly is a miracle. And I'm going to do a whole video another day about miscarriages and pregnancy and everything that comes along with that. But today let's focus on the labor and the delivery. Now, when I was pregnant, about to give birth, I watched so many of these videos and got so scared. But let me tell you guys, if I can give birth and I can go through labor, you can. Let me tell you, I have the lowest pain threshold and I still was able to do it. So if you're pregnant and you're watching this and you're scared, you've got it. So my daughter was born at 38 weeks, and I'd like to say a few weeks before that, maybe at around 33, 34 weeks, we picked our hospital, we booked it and everything, and I was waiting to give birth on around the 21st of April, which clearly did happen. She came 2 weeks early. Now, on the 7th of April, everything was fine. I didn't feel anything weird. I was not nesting. There were no signs of labor coming up. Actually, the day before, I had actually had my appointment, my 38-week appointment, and they had done an ultrasound and everything was fine. And they're like, yeah, we'll see you in like 4 weeks or so. But that was not the case. Our little baby was in a hurry to come out. So on the 7th night, we went to bed. Everything was fine. As usual, in the last few weeks of pregnancy, you don't really sleep well. So I was constantly tossing, turning. And it got to around 4 a.m. and I woke up really needing the bathroom, which if you've been pregnant before, you know is completely normal. You wake up to go to the bathroom every few minutes. So I woke up, and as I stood up, let me tell you, the movies do not lie. My water broke. And when I tell you there was this gush, there was literally a stream on the side of my bed. And to me, I thought, oh my goodness, I have peed on myself, because I was in no pain. I didn't feel any less different. So I quickly rushed to the bathroom to finish what I thought was using the bathroom, and it just wouldn't end. I sat there for around 5 minutes and I'm like, oh my goodness, how much pee can one person have? Anyway, it finally stopped for a while, and then I thought, okay, let me go to the kitchen and get a mop and a bucket and come and clean this mess, because I was honestly so embarrassed that if my husband was to wake up, he'd see that I'd peed on the side of the bed. So I went and I got the bucket, and as I was coming back, it's like it just started again. You guys, it was crazy how much fluid there was. And so I left this trail from the kitchen to the bedroom, and I figured, okay, you know what, this isn't normal. So I woke my husband up and I was like, look, I think my water's broken. And he was like, no, are you sure? You probably just peed. And when he saw the amount of fluid that was everywhere, literally everywhere in the house, he was like, okay, yeah. He asked me if I was feeling pain. Nope. Any contractions? Nothing. Guys, I was perfectly normal. Now, this is what you should not do, which is what I did. Since I felt okay, I decided, let me just text my gynecologist and tell her, yo, I think my water's broken, but I'm feeling fine. Baby was moving, so please call me when you get this in the morning. And then I went to sleep. I know, crazy. I should have gone to the hospital, but I don't know. I wasn't thinking rationally at the time, I guess. So at 6:30 a.m., I was woken up by my phone ringing, and I picked it up, and it was my gynecologist, and she's like, are you already at the hospital? And I was like, nope, I'm actually asleep. And what followed was her just shouting down the phone at me like, what are you doing? Your water's broken. You need to go to the hospital now. So I woke my husband up, we got ready, and we got to the hospital. Now, once we got there, I went to the nurse and I was like, yeah, my water's broken, but I'm in no pain. I don't feel any contractions. I don't know what's going on. So they checked me out, and they checked basically how far along I was, and I was 2 centimeters dilated. And they were actually like, you are in labor, you're going to have this child, you're not going home. And I was thinking, but where's the pain? So they hooked me up to this machine that monitors the baby's heart as well as my contractions. And I was on that machine for around an hour. So this was, let's say, from around 8, yeah, from around 8 to 9. Sorry about that. So yes, they hooked me up onto this machine, and it was from around 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. where they monitored the baby's heartbeat, which was perfect, but there was no contractions at all. So my body didn't realize that it's gone into labor. So my doctor came and was like, we're going to have to induce you. Guys, now at my baby shower, everyone who was there who had had an induction told me how painful, how extremely painful it was to be induced. And I was just thinking, nope, not happening. But of course, for the baby's sake, I had to be induced. And they used a drip. And I remember it was this really big bag, the drip, the fluid was a lot. And I was asking the nurse, I'm going to go through this whole bag. And she was like, some people even go through 2 or 3 bags. And I was like, okay. So we're going to be here a while, let me get comfortable. And by this time, my parents were there, my cousin was there, my sister-in-law was around, I was with my husband, like, we were many. So they kept me company. So I was induced at exactly around 9:30 a.m. Everything was fine, literally nothing happened, no contractions at all, no pain, until around noon. And I'm thinking, okay, this thing isn't working, it's not working. But half an hour later, you guys, the contractions came. And they didn't come sort of like gradually. They just came like that. Like the pain was instant. And I remember just before that, the nurse had come in and was like, are you feeling any contractions? And I'm like, well, nah, I don't think so. I'm fine. And she was like, okay, keep waiting, keep waiting. And all of a sudden the pain hit. So I was in, I guess, active labor from around noon till I gave birth at 3:15. So it wasn't even long. It was maybe 3 hours of pain. And what surprises me is there are women who have had up to 16 hours plus of labor. I can't imagine. May I just thank God that my labor lasted around, the pain lasted around 3.5 hours. But those 3.5 hours were the most, it was such excruciating pain. I don't even know how to describe it. It's an out of body experience. So the contractions would come, and what happened was my nurse came in and she brought me this medicine, sort of, you know, the gym balls, those huge inflatable balls, and she told me just sit on it and bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce. The more you bounce, the quicker your cervix will open up. Guys, I bounced for those 3.5 hours. With every contraction, I was just hopping about. And when the contraction would come, I would stop and I would clench. Like, my sister-in-law was standing in front of me, and I would grip her as tightly as I could. And then my cousin was behind me rubbing my back. And then the contraction would go, and we'd talk stories and try to distract me. The contraction would come back, and so on and so forth. Then it got to around 1:45, around 2 o'clock. And the nurse came in and was like, I need to check you. Guys, now, when they're checking to see how far along you are, it's another level of pain. Well, for me it was, because they do it during a contraction. And I remember at this particular point, my cousin and my sister-in-law left the room, and my husband came in. And I gripped him, and I was like, okay, you can check, there's no contraction, I'm ready. Guys, she put her fingers in to check it, and the pain. I ripped my husband's shirt. I remember gripping the collar of his polo shirt and pulling, and it ripped. Let me tell you, I don't know where that strength came from, but that's how painful it was. Anyway, they checked, and I was 7 centimeters, and they're like, just 3 centimeters to go. So I got up, I went back on that ball. You guys, I was determined. However, when it got to around 2:30, the pain was too much, and I was like, I need medicine, I need drugs now. And my gynecologist came in and was like, nope, you're too far along, no medication is going to take place, so I'll just sit here with you. And let me tell you, thank God for my gynecologist. She sat with me for the last hour, rubbing my back for an hour. Like, she was just rubbing my back, encouraging me, rubbing my back, encouraging me. My husband would come in, he would look at me and be like, oh my gosh, what is happening, and leave, come back, leave. And then once they checked me again, they realized I'm 9 centimeters, and they're like, okay, we can start going to the delivery room. So I was sitting there waiting for a wheelchair to come, but nope. They were like, walk. Walking will help. Walking will speed it up. So I remember my husband held me on one side and the nurse held me on the other. And we were walking along to the delivery room when a contraction came and I collapsed. They had to catch me because I was basically on my knees in pain. Now, I should also mention, at this point, I was butt naked. I don't know at what point my robe came off, but you guys, with that pain, with that intensity, I was barefoot, butt naked with this calesso trying to hold on to it. I was like, I don't care. So we get into the delivery room and I see the nurse leave and come back with a ball, and I'm thinking, no, I'm getting onto this bed and pushing. And she was like, no, we need it to just be a little wider, so you just have to bounce for 5 more contractions. And I remember the contractions would come and I would count down. Those are 5, 4, 3. I couldn't wait for the first one. I was like, this baby is coming out now. I don't know where the strength came from. I got up and put myself onto that bed. I was like, I am done, whether you're ready or not. The funny thing is, my gynecologist wasn't ready. She was still putting on the gloves and trying to put me in position, and I just started pushing because I was like, what I knew is when the contraction comes, you push. So I was like, I'm not going to wait for her to get ready. She will catch the baby if need be, but the pain was too much. So contraction came, I pushed. My doctor wasn't ready, so she was scrambling to hurry up. So she came just in time. I pushed 3 times. Baby flew out. Now, I should say it was easier because when my baby came out, she was small. My daughter was 2.2 kgs at birth. So it was slightly easier. Now, I remember she came out and all I could hear was her cry. And I was just like, thank you, God. My husband was there. Yes, he was there through the labor and delivery. And the funny thing is, as soon as she was born, I ceased to exist to him. Yes, let me just call him out. His attention just shifted to the baby. I think because I was lying there like, oh, thank goodness. Then he was like, she's fine. She's okay. Let me go to my baby. And yes, that is how I gave birth to our beautiful daughter Ayana. And I can't believe it, but actually in the next month she'll be turning 1, so look out for, probably I might have some footage for her first birthday. But yes, I just want to encourage any ladies who are currently pregnant, who are looking to get pregnant, that it's not easy. I won't lie to you that it's not that bad, the pain isn't so bad. It's bad, it hurts. You will probably cry, but the reward that comes out of it far outweighs any pain that you go through. So be encouraged. If me and my husband do ever decide to have another baby, I'm sure I will take you along for that experience. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel and to watch this video and for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Please do subscribe and share and like and comment, and I will see you guys very soon.